So, welcome all. Myself, Dr. Jasul, course coordinator from Ayurveda Map. So, welcome all to you to the today's session. The Swadhyaya, which is the academic sessions from the Ayurveda Map. So, we are giving support to the BAMS final year students and the PG first year students now, and Tuesday is allotted to the Kaichilsa. We are planning 25 classes in every subjects, and it will be weekly classes. And the our approach is an exam point of view approach we have, and we discuss question papers, research topics, etc. So you can register with this. This is the free class. We have Dr. Susmita, ma'am. She is an academician as well as a physician, and today she is dealing with the clinical aspects of AMA. So welcome you, ma'am, to this session. Over to you, and you can unmute yourself. Hello, Dr. Susmita, you can unmute yourself. Hello, doctor. We can continue. You can start.
Hello. Good evening, all. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Good evening, all. Am I audible?
Yeah, doctor, you are audible. Can you hear? Hello?
Good evening, all. Am I audible?
Yeah, doctor, you are audible. Can you hear?
Hello, കേൾക്കുന്നില്ലേ? ഇല്ല, കേൾക്കുന്നില്ല. Okay. Going to start with the new. We are going to deal with the introduction topic of Kaya Chikitsa. That is a very basic topic. Today we are dealing with the clinical importance of AMA. Myself, Dr. Susmita S.G. I have completed my MD in Kaya Chikitsa from Government Ayurvedic College, Trivandrum. And currently I am working as an academic consultant in Switzerland Ayurveda Medical University. So today we can discuss about the clinical importance of AMA. First, we have to know the nirukti of AMA initially. The word AMA is derived from the root word A plus Ma. The word A means near or towards, and Ma means poison. So the word AMA means that the product which is near or towards a poison. Acharya says that Ishatu Amyade Pachyade iti Ama, or Amyade Pidade Sodo Samuho Anena iti Ama. It means that AMA is the byproduct of incomplete digestion of food materials, and it have the capability of vitiation of different sources. Then we can consider the definition of AMA. We can classify the definition of AMA in through 5 basic concepts. The concept 1 says that it is a very basic concept. It says that so annajo reso idi ama, or anna resasya eva apakasya tanyandare ama vebadesha. It means that ama is known as undigested metabolite in the body. Otherwise, it is known as an improperly formed residadu, which is responsible for the production of diseases. So, it is a definition that is given by Acharya Vijayarakshita. Ashtanga Hridaya, in Ashtanga Hridaya Doshopakramaniya Adhyaya, it also says that Ushmano Alpa Balatvena Dadum Adyam Avajidam Dushtam Amasya Rasam Amam Prajakshade. According to the above verse, AMA is produced as a result of reduction in the digestive fire in our body, which lead to improper ahara parinama. And finally, the first dhatu or rasadhatu is first dhatu or rasadhatu is formed from dushta amasya rasa. So the rasadhatu which is formed as dushta in this case, this aparibhakwa rasadhatu has the property of vitiation of the succeeding dhatus, and it leads to production of diseases of different kinds. This is a first concept about AMA. Then concept 2. By considering the case of diseases, Pradhama dosha dushtimcha kejit amam prajakshade. According to the, this verse is also given by Acharya Vijayarakshita. It says that ama is known as the initial dosha dushti. So in the production of every diseases, the initial dosha dushti is known as ama. So then concept 3 says that concept 3 is kejittu mala sanjay. It is a given in Madhava Nidana Amavada Prakarana. This means that ama is the accumulation of mala in the body. You all know that we can consider the chronic kidney diseases as an example. It says that uh, the accumulation of serum urea, creatinine, uric acid, etc. in the body will happen in the case of chronic kidney diseases. So that accumulation of serum creatinine, urea, etc. can be taken as an example of ama in the body. So ama is known as malasanjaya in the body. This is a definition in Madhava Nidana. The concept 4 is a little more wide concept, that is ama visha. Ama visha is a concept given by Acharya Vagbada in Matra Siddhi Adhyaya of Sutrasthana. Is that Viruddha Adhyashino Ajirna Shilino Vishalakshanam Amadosham Mahagoram Varjayed Visha Samyakam Visharupa Ashukaritvat Viruddha Upakramattvada. It means that ama is the byproduct of ajirna, that is formed as a result of viruddhasana or incompatible food items. So the resultant metabolite is having the property of both visha and ama. So it can be treated as mahaghora visha and
Hello. Yeah, you can switch off your camera, doctor, so that we will get a better network. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you can continue.
Is it okay?
Okay.
Then the concept of ama visha, that is the byproduct of it is ama visha is known as a byproduct of ajirna, which is formed as a result of viruddhasana. So it has the symptoms of both visha and ama, and it can be treated as mahaghora visha, and that should be taken as a category of Varjya Rogas, because ama and visha having opposite properties, and ama should be treated by Agneya measures, and visha should be treated by Saumya measures. So the treatment of ama will vitiate visha, and the treatment of visha will aggravate ama. So the Viruddha Upakrama will lead to different kind of diseases, and it should be taken as Varjya. Then that is all about the concept of ama visha. Then concept of 5 is also given by Acharya Vagbada. It says that Anya doshebhya eva abhyo dushtebhyo anyonya murchana kodravebhyo vishasyeva vadanti amasya sambhava. That is, ama, which is originated from highly vitiated dosha itself, by their interaction, which is similar to the development of aflatoxins, which is stored in edible food material called cornmeal. That is, it says that ama is originated from highly vitiated doshas by their interaction with each other, similar to drug interactions in modern concept. So the development of aflatoxin stored up in the edible food material cordon millet can be comparable with the development of ama. These are all about the concepts of ama. Then we can discuss about the relationship between Agni and ama. You all know that the concept of Agni and ama, which is both are having an inverse relational relationship. So it's and ama avastha will lead to Agni. Are all about the relationship between Agni and ama. The proper Agni will lead to Ojas and improper Agni will lead to Ama. Then next we can discuss about the etiological factors of the Ama Nidana can be classified into intrinsic factors and extrinsic factors. The intrinsic factors are the Nija Nidanas of Ama, and extrinsic factor are the external factors which are contributing to the development of Ama. Bija Tushti can be taken as an intrinsic factor in the case of development of Ama. The Madhurja and Pidruja Bhavas. You have studied about Madhurja and Pidruja Bhavas in the case of hereditary disorders. So the Ama, which is transmitted from the Bija level itself, lead to the development of diseases through the Nija Ama. That, for example, Jadaja Prameha, Jadaja Arshas, etc. Then chromosomal disorders. These are inherited to ourselves from the Madhurja and Pitrija Bhavas. So these are the intrinsic factors which are leading to the development of Ama. Then the extrinsic factors are the factors which are developing as a result of our improper lifestyle. This can be classified into various types: Aharaja Nidanas, Viharaja Nidanas, Manasika Bhava, Desha Kala Ridujanya Vikaras, then Vaidyaja and Vishaja and Vega Udirana Dharana. These are the external factors which are leading to the development of Ama. The Aharaja factors are the factors which are developing through our improper food and food habits, the junk food habit, then the intake of more and more food before the previous food digested, etc. can lead to development in our body. Then viharas, like vasopna and avyayama, lead to the development of ama. Then you have one doubt that how manasika bhavas lead to the development of ama. You all know that the relationship between Rasavaha Shrodas and the Manasika Bhava. Acharya says in the case of Rasadushti, the Rasavaha Shrodo Dushti developed from Upataptena Bhuktamsha Shoga Krodak Shudadihi. Acharya says one verse. That is Upataptena Bhuktamsha Shoga Krodak Shudadihi means the manasika bhavas like shoga, krodha, etc. having the property of vitiation of prasadhatu. So improper ahara parinama happens and improper rasadhatu is formed. It can be correlated to the manasika bhava leading to the development of ama. So it's clear that manasika bhavas will lead to the development of ama. Then desha, kala, rudu. So the development of like development of fever in rainy season and various Pittaja Vigaras will develop in Grishma Ritu, etc. can be taken as the Ridujanya, Desha Kala Ridujanya Ama production in our body. Deshaja Vigaras, certain kind of diseases like malaria is predominantly seen in Wayanad district of Kerala. It can be then sickle cell anemia also a Deshaja Vigara, like and it is seen in Wayanad district of Kerala. So the living environment or living atmosphere have also the property of development of ama. Then Vaidyaja Vikaras. Vaidyaja factors which are iatrogenic factors will lead to the development of ama. Drug interactions, adverse drug reactions, etc. can be correlated as the development of ama can be taken as the development of ama. Okay. Then Vishaja factors. Vishaja factors are the intake of toxins. Initially, it will also develop as ama. Then Vega, Udirana, and Dharana. It is also Vega Dharana also have the property of development of ama. These are all about the etiological factors of ama. That is, intrinsic and extrinsic factors will lead to the development of ama, and we have classified it into different kinds. And I think you are clear about us. Then next we can discuss about the pathophysiology of ama. The etiological factors, including the extrinsic and intrinsic factors, will lead to Agnimandia. This Agnimandia will lead to improper digestion and metabolism. That is, impaired digestion and metabolism will lead to ama. That ama will lead to impairment in both absorption and transformation at the systemic level. This improper absorption and transformation will lead to Shrodharada and will lead to Amajanya Vigara Ulpatti. These are the common pathophysiology in the case of ama. We can see the same pathology in different diseases. Example, Jwara. In the case of Jwara, initial Agnimandia and Amavastha will lead to Rasadhatu Dushti, and the Rasadhatu Dushti will again vitiate other doshas, and the Sharira Udma will reach the Sharira Ushma will reach the all over the book, and it will act as Sandaba in our body. So in every diseases, you can see the same pathophysiology of ama. In the initial dosha dushti, in every disease is correlated with the amavastha, and Agnimandia, impaired digestion and metabolism, and development of ama, and impaired absorption and transformation in the systemic level lead to Shrodharada. This Shrodhas can be Rasavaha Shrodhas, Raktavaha Shrodhas, or Medovaha and Machavaha Shrodhas, any kind of Shrodhas. So, disease will occur in different Shrodhases where the etiological factors where the etiological factors are more prone to develop diseases. So these are about the pathophysiology in the case of ama. Then Amajanya Vigara Ulpatti can be classified into 4 stages. The stage 1, it is a morbid matter is expelled as Sardi or Adisara. In the case of Rasavaha Shrodhas, the Mahashrodhas is initially vitiated. So the Vigaras will act in, Vigaras will occur in the Mahashrodhas. That can be Sardi, Adisara, Grahani, Shuviga, etc. That is the stage 1 in the case of Amajanya Vigaras. It is very easy to cure as the Mahashrodhas diseases in the Mahashrodhas can be easily treated with the Langhana, Pajana, and Shodhana measures. So it is very easy to remove the diseases from the Mahashrodhas. Stage 1 is a little bit easy to cure. Then stage 2 is known as is somewhat severe while considering the stage 1 disease. Stage 2 disease, the morbid actor undergo PAGA. The PAGA will lead to the development of other diseases. Example, Jara, Kasa, etc. The second stage is Dosha PAGA Avastha. It is more severe compared to stage 1. Then stage 3 is Dhatu Gada Avastha. It is more severe and by considering the stage 1 and 2. That is Dhatu Gada Avastha. Example, it may show the Sthai and Asthai Lakshanas. By considering the Dhatu Gada Jwaras, Rasadadugada, Raktadadugada, Mamsadadugada, Medodadugada, different. Am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am, you can continue.
Okay. Stage 3, I will repeat. Stage 3 is Dadugada Avastha in the case of diseases. It will show the Sthayi and Asthayi Lakshanas. For example, while considering the case of Jwara, you have studied different Dadugada Lakshanas. Rasa Dadugada, Rakta Dadugada, Mata Dadugada, Medo Dadugada, Majja Dadugada, and different kind of different Dadugada Lakshanas you may have studied. Similarly, in the case of Kushta also you have studied about different kind of Dadugada avasthas. These are very difficult to cure from Rasadadu to Shukradadu. Then stage 4 is Dadu Leena Avastha. That is very difficult to cure. That is Dushtigilsya and Dirgha Kalanbandha. When in the case of Vishmajwara, the Dadu Leena Avastha can be correlated. In the Vishmajwara, you have studied about Dadu Leena Avastha. Dadu Leena Avastha will lead to Karsh Vaivarnya and Jadya like symptoms in the case of Vishmajwara. That is Dadu Leena Avastha of Ama, that is Dushtigilsya and Dirghakalabandha. These are the 4 stages in the case of Ama. Okay. Then we can discuss about the type of Ama. Based on the degree of Jadarakni or Tattvagni, we can correlate the Ama, we can classify the Ama into Koshtaja and Dadugada Ama. These two types can cause diseases in 2 different Roga markas. Like Ama can be different, divided into Ama, the one which is developed from Ama. Ama Anna will lead to Vigridi and it will lead to the diseases in Mahasrotas. For example, Vishudika, Alasaga, Charti, Adisara, etc. Then Ama Resa will develop Dadujanya Vigridi, Dadni Vigridi, and that Dadugada Ama will lead to Sarvadehiga Sarvadehi diseases like Amavada, Kshagada, Medoroga, Prameha, etc. These are all about the Jadaragni and Dada Mandya Ama development. You can see in the case of then next we can discuss about biophysical property of Ama. It is said by Acharya Vagbada. That is biophysical properties of ama was said by Acharya Vagbada in Doshubhakramani Adhyaya. It says that Avipakvam Asamitam Durgandam Bahulam Sadanam Sarvagatrana. Acharya Madhava has given Bahu Pichila property to ama. That is, we can discuss it in discuss these points later in detail. General symptoms of ama, that is Rodhoda, Balapramsa, Gauru, Angla Murta, Alasya, Apakti Nishtiva, Malasanga, Aradiklama, Lingam Malanam Samanam, Niramana Viparya. This is the definition of ama that is given by Acharya Vagbada in Doshobhakramaniya Adhyaya. Shrodoroda means blockage in the body channels. Balapramsha means the loss of strength. Gaura means heaviness of the body. And Anila Mudada known as blockade in the function of Vada. Alasya means laziness. That Apatti means indigestion. Nishtiva means expectoration, which can be considered as expulsion of malas in the cellular level. Malasanga, you know that it is constipation, and aruji, loss of appetite, and klama means weakness. These are the general symptoms of ama. Then next we can consider the effect of ama on dosha, dhatu, and mala. Amena tena samyukta dosha dushascha dushida sama ityupadishyante echa roga tadutva. Acharya Vagbada says in Doshobhakramaniya Adhyaya of Sutrasthana, the dosha is compared with ama. Dosha, when associated with ama, known as sama dosha. Similarly, dusha associated with ama lead to sama dosha, and mala, which is combined with ama, is known as sama mala. We can discuss about the different lakshanas of malas in the body. Doshas, dhatu, and mala in the body. Both Sama Lakshana and Nirama Lakshanas are given by Acharya Vagbada in Ashtanga Sangraha Dosha Bhedi Adhyaya. It says that in the case of Vada Dosha, Sama Vada Dosha will lead to certain kind of symptoms. Vibando Vayu Samo Vibando Agni Sada Tandra Andhra Kujanam Vedana Shobanistodo Kramasho Angani Pede Vijaret Yugalvachabi Grignadi Kubido Vrisham Snehadir Vridi Mayadi Surya Mekhode Nishi. That is Vibanda, Agni Mandya, different type of Vedanas like Andhra Kujana, Vedana, Shoda, Toda, etc. Can be considered as Vata associated with ama, and the Vata associated with ama will aggravate by Snehana, and particularly in cloudy weather and night. You all know that Vada will be Vada getting cured by Snehana and Svedana therapy when it is Kevala Vadika and not associated with other doshas, and when not associated with ama, Vada getting cured by Snehana and Svedana therapy. If a painful situation in the body getting aggravated by Snehana and Svedana therapy, then we can consider it as it is associated with other doshas, or maybe associated with ama. We can consider it the two cases. Okay. Then Nirama Lakshanas of Vada, that is Nirvibandha, Alpa Vedana, Ruksha, and Upashaya with the Sneha. While treating the Vada Vyadis, we can see that if the doshas are not associated, Vada dosha not associated with other uh, ama, then it shows Alpa Vedana, then dryness will be seen, and it will be definitely having property of Upashaya with Sneha. So, if for the initial 2 days of treatment, if the pain or the symptoms will reduce in initial 2 days of Snehana therapy, we can consider it as Nirama, and we can continue the treatment, continue the Snehana therapy. Or if it is aggravated by Snehana therapy, then we can consider that the Vada is get associated with Ama. So Amapajana measure should be Amapajana measures should be done, and should be this is the importance of uh, this is the importance of get importance in while considering Sama and Nirama Avastha uh, in the case of Vada Vyadis. Okay, then next we can discuss about Pitta, which is associated with Ama. It shows the symptoms like Durgandham, Haridam, Shyavam, Amlam, Stiram, Guru, Amliga, Hritkanda, Dahakara. These are the Samaja Lakshanas of Pitta. You can see these symptoms in various type of diarrheas, dysentery, etc. Dysentery, then irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease, etc. You can see the Sama Lakshana and Nirama Lakshana. Then Nirama Lakshanas will be that Adamara Pida Varna, no foul smelling. Pitta have the Kadu Rasa by its inherent nature. So that Kadu Rasa, if the patient feels the Kadu Rasa, then it can be considered as Niramavastha. Then Atyushna and Jadragni, capable of Pajana, then it can be considered as Pitta is not associated with Ama. Then it is also Belya in nature. Then next we can consider the Kabadosha, which is associated with Ama. Avila, Tandula, Sthana, Kandalogna, Durganda, Shuddudkara, Vibandakrit. These are the Sama Lakshanas of Kapa. Then the Nirama Lakshanas of Kaba like that Prenilam, Pandu, Pinditam, Vistaram, Chedagam, and Bhakta Shuddhikrit. In the case of Sama Avastha, you can see the Shuddh Udkara Vibandha, and in case of Nirama Lakshana, we can see the Bhakta Shuddhikrit. Kaba, the Kaba, which is Nirama, that is Bhakta Shuddhikrit. That is Nisaraga and Chedaga. So these are the symptoms of Sama and Nirama Lakshanas of doshas. Then next, Sama Dhadugada Lakshanas are not given by Acharya in Samhitas, but you can see in different stages of diseases, you can see the Sama Lakshanas of Dhadus. So these Sama Dhadus will act as a platform for dosha and dosha samurjana. So the abnormal dhadus, which is both structurally and functionally abnormal dhadus, will create the platform for different kind of diseases. You can see it in Jwara, Kushta, etc. Dhadugada avasthas you can see, and by assessing the patient in detail, you can see the Dhadugada Ama Lakshanas. Okay. Next, we can discuss about the Sama Mala Lakshanas. Purisha and Mutra, both Acharya given Sama Malas like Mutra and Purisha. The Purisha, which is associated with Ama, will be profuse in quantity. It is extremely foul smelling, sticky and formless, and which sink in water. Then Nirama Lakshana, Purisha will be normal in quantity, which is well formed, normal fecal smell, non-sticky, and float on water. Okay. This is important in case of treatment of Adisara in various diseases like inflammatory bowel diseases, irritable bowel syndrome, etc. You have to classify into Sama and Nirama Avastha and treat accordingly. Okay. Then Sama Mutra will be cloudy, which can be which is having increased specific gravity and specific and density, which is foul smelling. In various diseases like diabetes mellitus, the Dushti of Mutra and the association with Ama can be seen. So the urea, uric acid, albumin, sugar, ketone bodies, etc. will be increased in urine. Okay. That is the Sama Lakshanas of Mutra. Then Nirama Lakshanas of Mutra will be like that, clear and transparent urine with normal color and odor. That is Nirama Lakshana of Mutra. This can be understood by urine and the stool examination, and we can uh, compare the various parameters of laboratory investigation with the Mutra and Purisha Parisha. Okay. And we can classify it as Sama and Nirama. Okay. Then assessment tool of AMA. We can assess AMA clinically by laboratory investigations. The first one is symptom-based management, symptom-based assessment. That is Srodha-Rodha. It can be understood as the blockade to the arteries, veins, lymphatic duct, GI tract, CVS, CNS, etc. Atherosclerosis, hyperlipidemia, etc. can be taken as examples. Okay. The blockade to the arteries, veins, etc. can be compared with the Srodha-Rodha. So, in a patient, if it shows the blockade in the arteries or veins, then we can definitely know through pulse examination. Okay. Then pulse examination, heart rate examination. Through general examination itself, you can see the Srodha-Rodha. Then various systemic examinations like CVS and CNS examination will and GIT examination will lead to the help in the definite diagnosis of Srodha-Rodha at various levels. Okay, so we can diagnose accordingly. Then Balabhramsha. Balabhramsha is known as the loss of Bala or diminished urges or decreased immunity in the body. You can see the different type of diseases like in the case of corona and in the case of HIV or AIDS, you can definitely see that our body is having a decreased immunity, and it will lead to it, and our body will become susceptible to more and more diseases, which is not common in other healthy individuals. So. The development of mucormycosis in corona patients uh, can be taken as one example. That is, the decreased immunity will lead to the development of mucormycosis disease in corona patients. Okay, that can be taken as Balabhramsha, example of Balabhramsha. Okay, then Gaurava. The heaviness as if covered by a wet skin can be correlated as a Gaurava. That is, Gurbi Then Anila Mudada. Anila Mudada means loss of normal movement of Vada inside the srotis, or it can be interpreted as slowness of action. Anila Mudada can be seen in the case of Parkinson's disease, where and Huntington's chorea, etc. Here, the normal pathway of our Vada is getting hampered, and it will shows abnormal movement. That movement disorders can be taken as an example of Anila Mudra. In the case of Mahasrodhas, the development of flatulence and belching can also be correlated as Anila Mudra. So I think it may be clear. Okay. You can correlate in various systemic levels, that is Anila while considering the Vyanavada, Anila can be correlated to movement disorders, and while considering the Samanavada, Anila can be correlated to the development of flatulence, belching, etc. Like this. Then Alasya. Alasya means the lack of zeal in spite of having energy, and Abhakti means Abhakti happens due to the lack of secretory digestive enzymes. Then Nishtiva means expectoration, and it can be interpreted as a metabolic based expulsion in the cellular level. Then Malasanga means obstruction of the channels in the body where the waste are excreted. The accumulation of waste product in the body will lead to malasangia, and it will trigger immune responses in the body. Then Aruji means a loss of taste, and Klama means fatigue or sluggishness. Then the second point is the clinical examination of ama. Through Jihva Parisha, we can assess the ama. That is, white coating or greasy feeling over the tongue can be taken as ama. You may have examined the fever patients in your OPD. You can see the white coating in the tongue, and it can be in the initial 2 or 3 days of fever. So the tongue coating can be taken as Amavastha. Then lab investigations. Then Mutra and Purisha Parisha will help to identify the Amavastha. The Sama Purisha, which will sink in water, and Nirama Purisha will float in water. Then Mutra Parisha shows that the clear through Mutra Parisha we can assess the ama, that is the turbidity, specific gravity, and abnormal constituents of urine like serum urea, creatinine, and uric acid. If it is raised more than the normal level, then it can be correlated as ama or malasangia in the body. Okay. Then biochemical investigations like blood test. Through blood test we can assess the ama, raised ESR, blood urea, RA factor, SGOT, SGPT, CRP values should be assessed as ama. Then excess antibodies like high IgE, excess RBC, bacterial infections can be counted as the parameters for the assessment of ama. And if the ama is manifest in excess, our body will try to eliminate it through the upper tract of the body and manifest as acute condition in the body. Next, we can discuss about the clinical importance of ama. Then, role of ama in the production of vyadis, Garbhaja vyadis or inherited disorders. Lactose intolerance is considered as one example of Amavastha in the Bija level. Then Jadaja Vikaras. Jadaja Vikaras are Jadaja Prameha and Jadaja Arshas. You have studied about Jadaja Prameha and Jadaja Arshas. These are the example of Jadaja Vikaras. Then role of Ama in the Dosha Dusha Samurjana. While considering the pathophysiology of ama, I have said that what is the relationship between dosha dusha samurjana and ama. The initial Agni-mandya and ama lead to the impairment in the absorption and transformation at the systemic level, which will lead to the Srodoruna and Amajanya Vikara Ulpati through the dosha dusha samurjana. This is a basic pathology in every disease. Then role of AMA in assessing the pathogenesis and prognosis of the disease. We can consider AMA as an inflammatory marker. So the raised ESR, CRP, then raised serum urea and creatinine level can be taken as a tool in the pathogenesis of the disease. So we can consider that inflammatory markers are as AMA. Then role of AMA in deciding the management plan. While classifying the diseases into Sama and Nirama Avastha, every physician can successfully manage the disease because for example, uh, in the case of Vada Vyadhis, it is very important to classify the disease as Sama and Nirama stage. Then only we can deal with that disease without any incorrection in the management. The the Samavada will definitely increase by Snehana therapy and Nirama Avastha only. The Rukshavada will become cured by Snehana and Svedana therapy. So definitely Upashya and Anupashya, assessment of Upashya and Anupashya in the case of Vadavyadis will depend upon the Sama and Niravas assessment will depend upon the assessment of Sama and Nirama Avastha in the body. Okay. Then some acute and subacute and chronic conditions is seen in the case of Amavastha. Then Ama Vyadhis can be is different based on the manifestations. In the case of acute conditions, you can see that acute ama will lead to fever, diarrhea, dysentery, etc. Then subacute conditions, then grahani dosha, udara, that is liver damage, hepatic diseases, etc. will develop as not develop as develop as an acute condition. It is a subacute condition. Then Pandu, anemia, Shofa or edema. These are the subacute manifestation of Amaja Vigara. Then certain chronic conditions, that is the diseases that develop in through a long time period, that is Prameha, Amavada, Garavisha, etc. can be taken as chronic conditions in the case of Amaja Vigara. Okay. Then while considering the PG question papers, you can see that what is the relationship between the AMA and free radical theory? That is, AMA is related to free radical theory. We can discuss that. We can discuss about that. You may have one question. In my PG days, in my question paper, one question was that what is the clinical importance of AMA and what is the relationship between the AMA and free radical theory? It was a 10-mark question, so it is very important. and we can discuss that. And similarity in property. A free radical can be compared with AMA. A free radical is known as the one which is having more electrons in the outermost shell, which require neutralization. So it exists as an incomplete metabolic state. It can be correlated with avipakwa avastha of AMA because it is partially digested. So more agni is needed for the digestion of avipakwa ahara. So it can be correlated with free radical theory. Then asamyukta property. Asamyukta means it's the one which is inassimilable. In the case of free radical, as it exists in free state, it is not combined with any compound. So any compound, so it can be correlated as it can be exist in free state, and it is inassimilable in nature. So asamyukta property of AMA. Then similarity in the production. A free radical is produced in abundance when the equilibrium between the generation and body's primary defense mechanism is affected. So it can be correlated with malfunctioning of Agni and development of AMA. Then certain toxic substances like heavy metals produce the free radicals. It can be correlated to AMA, which is produced from toxic substances. I have said it in the concept 5 of definition of AMA, that is Kojavebhyo Vishasyeva Vadanti Amasya Sambhava. Similarly, in nowadays we are using so many junk food, fast food like shawarma, etc. That will act as a toxic substance in later toxic substances and develop diseases in later stages. Like in CDs and so many non-communicable diseases are developed from our fast food life. So AMA Visha concept can be correlated to heavy metal toxicity in the case of free radicals. Then these are all about the relationship between the AMA and free radical theory. Then we are going to the end of the class, that is management of AMA. The management of AMA can be correlated, can be divided into 2 stages, that is Nidana Parivarjana and Apadarpana. That is Nidana Parivarjana, that is adherent to a wholesome diet and lifestyle and will prevent the formation of AMA. These are all about the preventive factors of AMA for the prevention of diseases. Then you have said you have studied in case of Jwara, that is contraindication of medicines in the case of a certain stage of Jwara for the symptomatic relief. That is Amena Basmena Vagno Channi Annam Na Vibhajyade Tasmada Amatosha Pajanad Jitnubhavasi. In the case of Langhana, Bheshaja is Bheshaja, Ahara, etc. is contraindicated in the case of initial Shadaha Chikitsa for the development of for prevention of development of AMA in the body. So the contraindication of Bheshaja itself is also a management of AMA in certain diseases. For example, Jwara. You can refer it in Jwara Chikitsa. Okay. Then the next line of management is Apadarpana. The Apadarpana line of management is given in Ashtanga Hridaya Sutrasthana Matra Siddhi Adhyaya. It says that Tatra Alpe Lankanam Pati Madhya Lankana Padana Prabhude Shodhanam. That is, in the case of Alpa Ama, we can manage it with Lankana Chikitsa. Then Madhyama Ama, we can treat with Langhana and Pajana Chikitsa. And in case of Prabhuda Ama, it's have to be eliminated from the body through the Shodhana Chikitsa. So, Nidana Parivarjana and Apadarpana are the line of management of. Then Samadosha Chikitsa. Samadosha should be treated initially with Amapajana, then Agni Tipana, then while considering the Niramavastha, it can be treated with the Snehana, Svedana, and the Shodhana therapy by considering the Asana Margatva of the patient. Then in Shodhana of the Amasyastha Mala be done through the Vaktra Marga, that is through Vamana or through Nasya. Then Pakwasyastha Mala should be eliminated through the Buddha or through Virejana or Vasti. Then Chaturudha Mala should be eliminated through Gharana Marga, that is, it can be treated with Nasya. Then these are all the Shodha Chikitsa in the case of Ama. Then Utklishta Amadosha Chikitsa. Utklishta Amadosha Chikitsa or Swayam Pravartita Ama should not be stopped in the beginning. They should be digested with the Pajana drugs or removed by purificatory therapies late in later. That is, Swayam Pravartita doshas should not be stopped in the beginning. It can be seen in the case of Adhisara Chikitsa. That is Prabhuda Adhisara in Amavastha. Acharya says the line of management like that. That is Pravartana, Swayam Pravartana of Adhisara through treatment with Abhaya. That is seen in Adhisara Chikitsa. Then second is the Swayam Pravartita Ama should be adjusted with Pajana drugs. After the Ama, or it should be removed by Shodhana therapy after the Pajana of the Ama. Otherwise, it will lead to various other diseases. So these are about Samadosha Chikitsa and Utklishta Amadosha Chikitsa. Samadoshas will be managed by Amapajana, Divana. Then after the Niramasa, it should be treated by Snehana, Svedana, and Shodhana therapy. Then Utklishta Amadosha Chikitsa line of management is different. That is, initially it should not be stopped because Swayam Pravartita doshas, if it is suppressed, it will lead to different diseases. Then the Swayam after the digestion with Pajana drugs, it should be removed by purificatory therapies. Then these are all about the treatment of Ama. In this class, we have dealt various the concept of Ama. We have dealt about 5 concepts of Ama. Then we have discussed about relationship between the Agni and Ama. We have discussed in detail about Ama Nidana, both intrinsic and extrinsic factors that are leading to the development of Ama. Then we have said about the pathophysiology of Amajanya Vikaras and the relationship between the it with Dosha Samurchana. Then in the case of Amas, we have said about the Amasya Janya Vigara Ulpati and the 4 different stages we have discussed. Then we have discussed about Koshtaja and the Dadugada Ama. Then we have discussed about biophysical properties of Ama, general symptoms of Ama, the effect of ama on dosha, dhatu, and mala, and different lakshanas of sama and nirama lakshanas of doshas and malas are discussed. Then we have discussed about the assessment tools for ama, and we have discussed classified based on symptoms, laboratory investigations, and the clinical examinations and biochemical investigations. Then we have discussed about the clinical events of AMA, and we have correlated the AMA with the free radical theory. And finally, we have concluded it with the management of AMA, that is Nidana Parivarjana and Apatarpana line of management, then Sama Dosha Chikitsa and Ulkrishta Ama Dosha Chikitsa. These are about the all about the concept of AMA. Thank you. Okay. One question. Can you please show the first few slides? Nirupti of AMA. Then definition of AMA and 5 different concepts. Then relationship between Agni and AMA. Etiological factors, that is intrinsic and extrinsic factors, and its classification, pathophysiology of AMA. Then Amajanya Vigara Ulpatti and its 4 stages. Types of AMA, Koshtaja and Adugada AMA. AMA, that is Koshtaja and Adugada AMA, Dadukni Vikritijanya and the Jadrakni Vikritijanya diseases. Then biophysical properties of AMA. General symptoms of AMA. Effect of AMA on dosha, dhatu, and mala. Samvada, Sama Koshana, Nirama dosha lakshana, Sama mala lakshana. Then assessment tools for AMA. Clinical examinations, laboratory examination, biochemical investigation of AMA, clinical importance of AMA. AMA Vyadhi is based on manifestations, acute, subacute, and chronic conditions. AMA radical, then management of AMA. Okay. One student asked me to provide today's lecture PPT. Definitely, sure, I will provide the lecture PPT. Do you have any further doubts?
The participants can unmute themselves and ask doubts.
One student asked me about the Shamana Aushadhis for AMA. The Shamana Aushadhis for Rama will be different in different diseases. Mm, we can take the example of uh, Vadavyadis. In the case of Vadavyadis, some kashayas are acting as Pajana Kashaya and some kashayas are acting as Shamana Kashaya and some kashayas will act as Shodhana Kashayas. In the case of Vadavyadis, the Rasna Erendadi Kashaya, Rasna Saptagan Kashaya, etc. can be taken as uh, can be taken as the Pajana Kashayas in the case of Vadavyadi. Similarly, Rasonadi Kashaya can be taken as Amapajana Kashaya. So, in initial management of Vadavyadis, we are taking these kashayas like Rasonadi Kashaya, Rasna Erendadi Kashaya, and Rasna Saptakam Kashaya. These are the initial Pajana Kashayas of Ama. Then, in the second stage, we are giving Brahmana Kashayas to these patients. That is, Maharasnadi Kashaya, Dhanvantara Kashaya, etc. can be taken as Shamana Kashayas or Brahmana Kashayas. Then, after discharging the patient, we are giving Brahmana medicines. That is, after the Kashaya Chikitsa, we are giving some Thailas for intake. Thaila like Shirabala Thaila, Shirabala Avarti Thaila, then Dhanvantara Avarti. Then Kanda Thaila. These are considered as Brahmana medicines. So stage-wise stage-wise management, Kashayas and Churnas can be considered as considered for Pajana. Then there are some Samana Kashayas, and finally some Thailas like Avartita Thailas are which are acting as Brahmana should be given in the later stage of the diseases. I think that is clear. Then next question, which Ayurvedic formulation are good to expel the cough in COVID patients if the cough persists? In my practice, I have given Agastya Rasayana, Vasarishta, and Kanagasava combination in COVID patients. Then Vasishta Rasayana also have the property of expelling cough. Because in COVID patients, the persistence of cough can be taken as Dadushaya, and that Shayakasa should be treated with some rasayanas like Agastya Rasayana, Vasishta Rasayana, Dashamula Rasayana, etc. can be given to the patient by considering the doshas. If more kaba persists in more and more expectoration is seen, more productive is the cough, then we can consider the kaba dosha, and we can give the Agastya Rasayana and Vasishta Rasayana. And if it is dry cough, it is a dry cough, then we can give Gruda like Andagari Gruda. Then also we can give Dashmula Rasayana, which is Kavavadhara in nature. In my practice, I have given these two rasayanas. Then for boosting the immunity, I have also given the Chavanaprasha and the Indugandha Kashaya in COVID patients with persistent cough. In the initial stage, I have given Arishta like Vasarishta and Kanagasava combination, and the Talisa Patradi Churna mixed with Agastya Rasayana. I found these combinations as effective in the management of COVID cough in COVID patients. I think it's clear. Do you have any doubt?
The participants can put their queries in the chat box or can directly ask. Hope all the queries are over, so we can wind up the session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, one and all. We can deal with others topics in later classes. Okay, thank you.